Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Road to Pregnancy podcast. I'm one of your co hosts, Ashley Houlihan.
And I'm Malia Perales. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Like you learned last episode, we've entered season 3 of the podcast, meaning we're focusing more on third trimester topics. As you end the second trimester and begin your third, you may naturally start to think about what labor might look like for you.
Creating a birth plan is something that can help you in that process. And so, in today's episode, we're going to walk you through what that is, why it's beneficial, and how to make one. Let's start off, Ashley, by chatting about what a birth plan is.
Yeah, so a birth plan is a written document that outlines your preferences for your labor and delivery experience. It's given to your OBGYN and the rest of your care team to help everyone be on the same page about your wishes.
It helps your healthcare team understand what's important to you and makes it easier for everyone to communicate and work together during labor.
A birth plan can be as detailed or as simple as you wish. To help you understand what might go on it, we're going to walk through the template on ACOG's website. We'll also link this in the show notes if you want to use it down the line to make your own birth plan.
So, ACOG's sample birth plan has a few different sections: your wishes for labor, anesthesia, delivery, and baby care plans. Under the labor section, it allows you to communicate your preferences about things like being able to walk around or eat and drink during labor. You can share who you would and would not like to be present in the room, and if you're okay with medical trainees being a part of your experience. You can also share what types of laboring positions you would like to try and if they are safe for you and your baby.
You can think of the anesthesia section as a pain management section. You can indicate if you do or do not want a specific form of anesthesia. And the most common method that people think about is an epidural. However, there are other options for pain management during labor that we'll talk about in an upcoming episode.
The delivery section will again tell us your preferences about who you would like to be present in the room, but it's also the space to write down if you want you or someone else to cut the cord, for example. You can also write down if you would like a mirror to watch your vaginal delivery, if you have specific plans for the cord blood, if you are planning on breastfeeding after, or if you really want skin to skin time right after delivery. This section also allows you to document some wishes that you might have in the event that you need a C section.
The baby care section is where you can indicate if you plan to breastfeed, bottle feed, or both. You can also let your care team know if you're okay with pacifiers or sugar water, which is sometimes given to the babies during blood work to help soothe them. You can write if you're okay with the baby going to the nursery or if you want them to be in your room with you the whole hospital stay. And lastly, if you have a boy, you can indicate your plans for circumcision.
This is a great example of a birth plan, but there are other templates and versions out there. Your prenatal care office or doula, if you're using one, may even have a template for you to use.
Now, we want to make sure that we touch on an important point about birth plans. It's our goal as healthcare providers and as human beings to help you have the birthing experience you want, but also to do it in a way that keeps you and your baby safe. Labor can be very unpredictable. It may not progress in the way that we expect it to. Your baby may not tolerate contractions as well as we hope they do, and emergencies can arise, but that's why we're here. We're here to help you through those moments. And because of that unpredictability, it's important that you remain flexible when creating your birth plan.
Exactly. We like to think of a birth plan as more of birth preferences. They aren't concrete rules, but more so your wishes that we'll do our absolute best to abide by if we can safely.
An example of when you might need to be flexible is if you wish to try laboring in a certain position, but your baby isn't tolerating it well. The heart rate may drop lower than we want, or there may be signs that they aren't getting enough blood flow. This is a situation where you may not be able to follow exactly what you outlined in your plan.
A common fear I think many people have is planning for a vaginal delivery, but ending up needing a C section. And we want to start off by saying this is a very valid fear. A C section is a major surgery, and it can be very scary, especially when you haven't mentally prepared to have one. If your goal is a vaginal delivery, we do our best to help you have that, but only if it is safe. Sometimes it may not be, and in those moments, you may have to work with your care team in order to keep you and your baby healthy and happy.
Great point, Malia. A birthing plan is a fantastic starting point, but you should be prepared for it to change a little or a lot as your labor progresses.
Now, you may be wondering, if labor can change so quickly, why is it even beneficial to have a plan?
First and foremost, a birth plan is a great way to help you organize and prepare for what labor may look like. Some people have very clear preferences from the beginning of pregnancy, while others may not have thought about it yet. Writing a birth plan is a great opportunity to start that process.
And as we've discussed a little bit, the second major benefit is that it can help your care team be on the same page. Labor and delivery can get hectic. It can be helpful to have that document present to refer to during those times, even if it's seemingly smaller things like making sure your support person is there with you or having the music you like playing.
Yes, and during labor, you will likely be exhausted, and it might be harder to communicate your wishes clearly. So, having a plan in place can be really beneficial to remove some of that burden from you.
And it's also important to know that it's completely okay if you don't have strong preferences about every part of labor. Some people create very detailed birth plans, while others are comfortable relying more on the recommendations from their healthcare team. Ashley, when during pregnancy should people start making their birth plan?
Most people start thinking about their birth plan in the late second to early third trimester. The beginning phases might be more simple and centered around primary goals, like where do I want to deliver? Do I want a doula present? Do I hope for a vaginal birth if it's safe? Are there circumstances where I would prefer a planned C section?
As you enter your third trimester, you can start documenting those preferences on a template like the one we've linked to this episode, or one that you found online, or perhaps one that's provided to you by your prenatal office.
Sometime between 32 to 36 weeks, or when your provider prefers, it's a good idea to bring a copy to one of your prenatal appointments so that you can go over it with your provider.
Yeah, that's a great point. Your provider can help make sure your wishes are safe and realistic for your pregnancy, and also answer any questions you may have about your birth plan.
You can make your birth plan alone or with your partner/slash support person. If you're using a doula, they can also be a really excellent resource to help you in this process.
And implementing your birth plan may be a little intimidating for some people, but that's why discussing it with your primary provider is an excellent place to start. Every hospital is different, so they may have specific advice for how you convey the information to your care team.
In general, it can be a good idea to print out copies so you can provide one to your nurse or anyone else taking care of you in the hospital.
When you're exhausted from laboring or struggling to advocate for yourself, your support person, if you have one in the room, or your nurse, as Ashley just mentioned, can help advocate for you and remind your care team of your plan. Even if we need to deviate from the plan, this is a great way to start that conversation so that you and your support people can understand what's going on and why.
This is another place where a doula can be extremely helpful. In addition to communicating your wishes, they can also help explain to you what's going on while your team is working really quickly to give you the care that you need.
And if you're interested in a doula and don't know where to start looking, there's a great resource called Doulas of Rhode Island that can help you connect with a doula or even just explore more about what a doula is and how they can be part of your experience. We'll leave that link in the show notes.
All right, we've covered a lot today, so let's briefly summarize the main points. A birth plan is a written document used to convey your preferences about the labor and delivery process. Most people start making it around the end of the second trimester and finish sometime between 32 and 36 weeks.
The birth plan helps facilitate communication with your care team and can help all of us be on the same page as your labor progresses and as things change.
At the end of the day, your birth plan is about helping your care team understand your values and helping you feel informed, supported, and empowered throughout labor, even if things don't go exactly according to plan.
We'll link some of the example templates in the show notes for you to reference as you create your birth plans, but be sure to bring it up with your provider as you approach this stage of pregnancy because they might have great options for you as well.
And be sure to check out our Instagram at Road to Pregnancy for more updates and helpful tips.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode, and we will see
See you
you next
next
time.
time.